Welcome to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm rather excited to be bringing you this video. This video I've been planning for a few days, and it is about an application called Cover, which I'm going to demonstrate. Let me explain a little bit more. Back in the day, you used to have consoles and things like this. You still do, but you could go into magazines, news agents like WH Smith's, if you're from the UK, and buy a magazine like this where you could flick through and there was pictures and words. This is a really uninteresting magazine unless you're a diabetic, so you can't have this. No, that teaches you how to eat friendly. But the kind of magazines that you may be interested in if you're on this channel is retro magazines, gaming magazines, all kinds of magazines like this, and I want to show you something really fantastic. Oh, and by the way, Nigel sir, you said about the Anglian intro, that one was for you. That one was for you. So this is the PC that I have, and you will be looking at these pictures thinking, I may remember some of these, and yes, you may well indeed. This is the Cover application running on a Windows PC, and that is the one gotcha. It's running on a Windows PC, and I was a little bit concerned about this because the application you need to pay for, it's only like £3.99, something really cheap, at least cheap in UK money, so to speak. And you know, I had to buy it from the Microsoft Store, and I was a little bit worried, thinking, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean for me? Will I have to be logged in? I don't know. Anyway, if we take a look here, we're going to go down to settings and we're going to go to in-app purchases. So the app is already unlocked that you can see here. So that tells you the app we're running is unlocked, which is perfect, which is great, which is exactly where we want to be. And we're going to flip to the store, which we've got here, and this is it. It allows us to open the app. This is the app that I've brought here as well, and if we click on the icon here, it will say sign in. You can see sign in right at the top. That means that we are not signed in, so we are exactly where we want to be with this app, and we can go back to the main app here, and there we are. So this means that there is no dependency to be signed in on the Microsoft Store. This will run independently. Oh, and for the cost of one, I've got this running effectively on two PCs. I've got it running on my main PC where all these comics, for want of a better word, are stored, and I've also got it running on this PC that you see here. This is my arcade PC that you've got here, and I'm streaming the comics basically across the network from what you see. It builds a cache of the images that you see, but no, this works really well. Let me demonstrate. So we can go into Crash Fusion here, and here are all the paid Crash Fusion magazines you can have. I'm a subscriber to Fusion's Patreon for some of their magazines, and these are what you can get. They've done some annuals as well, so we can go in here, we can go in the annual, and we can basically click on there, and it loads up, and you know, we can basically just scroll through the pages, you know. So I'm just going to hit the right arrow a little bit, go through, you can see this, and look how big, look how glorious that is on the screen. You know, it really is good. That is an intentional blank page, and that is the back cover for the Gentleman's Pixel Club. So there you go. You can see me and me over here advertising, we need you to join the GPC. God save the gentleman. But no, this is really good the way this works. But we're going to pop back a little bit, and we're going to pop back here, and the first thing you will be saying is, well, hang on a minute, I don't own all these collections. Now, the one thing I'm not going to be doing is giving you anything that I've got. I have spent years and years building this collection. I've just had no decent way to view it. And we'll have a little browse around in a moment. But if you want to build a collection like yourself, others have spent years and years doing something like this, and you can get a lot of the common things that you've got here for free. If you just take a look at the snapshot, what you've got here, you know, you will recognize some of these names that you've got. We will take a look around. We will take a look around in a moment's time. But I want to go to an internet page, which we've got here. And this URL is one that you probably really want to be copying off the screen right now. If you've got any interest in Cover, you take that URL that you can see right now. Because if we actually were to execute that URL, we would go to internetarchive.org, and you've got all these magazines packs that you can download. There's loads here that I haven't got, so you know, you can build a huge collection, an absolute huge collection if you want to, for where you want to be. And look at this, we got a quote of the day, by the way. If you want to be on quote of the day, leave a quote, leave something in the conversation piece that I like, and if I do like your quote, I will put it on the quote of the day along with the picture of where you were, or at least the game that you mentioned it on, so you may feature on a future video. And it's completely random, the ones that come up, so it could be tomorrow you feature, it could be a long time in the future. Just as long as I'm producing some videos, there will be some chance for you to get these. But yeah, as I say, Internet Archive, the archive.org, this is the place to go and get these. Like, for instance, I haven't got the MSX one here. If I was to go in here, it takes a little time to load the Internet Archive. There we go. It's loading in, and it will go here. What I would be doing is I would be scrolling down all the way to here, and I would be clicking on the torrent, and I would be downloading the torrent to get all those files. But enough of that. Let's close that down. So this is the library that you've got, and all these, you know, if we just go into Ace, for instance, you know, we've got a great collection there. We can pick one, we can go into this, and it loads it, and we can just use the keys to scroll through to have a look at what you've got. And yeah, there's a little bit of caching that goes on. It basically read about 5 pages in advance, but no, it's an absolute beautiful way to have a look to see what you've got. I mean, who remembers a Conix £200 arcade machine? I don't think any of us do, because I don't believe that ever came out, but it works well. It works very well. So we're going to go back here, and you know, we're back at the main menu here. We go back here to here, and what else can we do? If we go to, we'll pick Sinclair User for sake of another one here. You know, you've got all these magazines, but there was specials. There were other things they did as well. What you can do is you create basically a folder. You can call it what you want. I've called all my folders with extra stuff ZZZ. So you click on there, and it goes here, and look, you've seen it. Just refresh some extra stuff that it didn't have, and you know what? It is very, very satisfying to watch it do this. It will work on whatever folder structure you create, and it is so easy to set up. All you do is you basically go into preferences, and look at this. I've got add folders to library. Well, I've got, oh, what's that? That's 14,735 comic books, magazines, everything it refers to as a comic book here. And it's literally coming off my one share called Office PC cover. So yeah, that works, and it's literally just a directory structure with everything underneath. That is all there is to it. I've changed no other settings on here. So we're going to go back a couple of screens, I think, to let's see here. And you know, I was interested in all kinds of things when I was growing up, so a lot of the stuff that I've got here is for just purely member berries, for want of a better word. But you know, if we go into, say, role playing here, and you know, we've got all these things. We've got Adventure Magazine that popped up, that populated there. We can go in and you can watch it sort the covers that you've got. You know, we could pick any one of these, and it's going to load that version of Adventure Magazine for me, so you can have a read through to see what you want to be seeing. You know, you could call some of these addresses now that are like Games World. They're not going to be there now, but 129 King Street, Hammersmith, once there was a place called Games World with a telephone number of 01741 4467. You know, it's a journey. It's a memory journey for the old member berries that you can be on here. But we're going to drop back again, and we will go into, say, Dungeons and Dragons, and we will pick, oh, I don't know, we'll pick one of these. We'll pick cores. We'll just go into here. You know, AD&D. You got the rule book there. Does actually show very many. Let's do that one. That's got 10 in there. That looks rather pretty. But you put whatever you want here. You absolutely put whatever you want here. This handles PDF format, CBZ format, CBR format, all kinds of formats that you've got. This really, really does work well. You know, we're going to go into comics now. Look at this. You can see it doing the top level of all the comics that we've got here. You know, I haven't really sorted any of this today. They have just been copied in. But if you're a fan of, I don't know, 2000 AD, let's click on there. Now, this has got nothing there at all, but look at those old covers come. Look at them appear. And as I say, Internet Archive will give you 90% of what you see here. You know, and you know, I'm a British man. I see this here. Is that Dan Dare with a British flag that he's got there? Let's have a look at this version of 2000 AD. And look at that, 9p. That costs 9p on the 31st of December 1977, and you can read your comics. You can have a look at your comics. You know, it's absolutely glorious. It really, really is. All right, so you know, this will build this, and it will add all of them up. There's at least 1,000 or so to add here. You know, so it's quite interesting. But history is also interesting. If we go back here and we go back here just a little bit, you know, we will pick. What shall we pick? What is a good one to pick? Your Sinclair. Where are we? Where are we? No, not your Sinclair. Sinclair User. So we're going to pick Sinclair User. Look at how this changed. It was really serious to start off with, and then it got a little bit gamey as it went along, and then it got really teenagey on how it looked there. And it's just lovely to watch all these covers that you see here. So we're going to go back one more time, and we're going to go back into the comics, I think, as well. So we'd go into comics here. And I'm a big Star Wars fan. So we've got a Star Wars folder somewhere. You know, I literally just copied these on. I have done nothing with it, but you can see that slowly populating with everything that you've got there. You know, you have details of how many comics there. Like, that's a standard one on its own. That's got 107 comics in it. You know, and if you're a real oldie person, you know, and you like Star Wars from the beginning, Marvel had the original Star Wars comics. You can go in here and look, the original 1977 version of Star Wars, A New Hope. You know, these are condensed versions, I believe, from Dark Horse. But somewhere we will have all the original ones. You know, it's just a sea of stuff. I can't see what I need to see, but you know, do we go in here? Is it this one? No, it's not that one, but somewhere will be the original comics, and that's for me to find a little bit later. If I'm just curious, could I very quickly see where they are? Was it extras? No. Classic Star Wars? I don't know. Here we are. Original Marvel. If I go in here, these are the original comics that you had, you know, with the stories and everything like that, you know, that you would get from the newsagent. This had the X-Wing that was stuck on the front. You know, look at what Darth Vader looks like now. And I know we have digressed just a little bit from what I was originally talking about, but this comics application is absolutely phenomenal in what it gives you. It is so easy to add anything that you want. It really is. There's a bit of tidying up to be doing here. You know, and history is an interesting thing. So there's where are we? There's a home computer. There we are. Home Computing Weekly. You know, have a little look at that screen. See from the top of your head, what covers do you think sold quite a few copies? I bet it these four here. I bet it was these four here. But you could put anything you want in this. You could put anything that you want in all of this. But it's just an absolute blessing to be able to have a look at this old stuff. I mean, look at this Seco wrist terminal that you've got there. You know, you wouldn't want to wear one today, but you might want to have a look here, and you could just read through, look at old adverts. You know, it really is great. But all of this is at your fingertips. Using sites like Internet Archive that we've got here. You know, things which should never be on there are the Fusion stuff, because that's paid for, and that is current today. And I've got a few of these. Fusion do a lot of great magazines through their Kickstarter, not their Kickstarters, their patrons. But you know, I've got these next ones as well that you have, and you know, these are really good. What they have here, you know, Chris Wilkins, the guy that's involved in all this, he does a lot of time and effort to create current retro content today. But you know, there's things that you've probably never even heard of, like, you know, what is page 6? There's 85 of these. Well, it turns out that page 6 is all to do with the Atari stuff. So you know, we can go to August 95 and have a look here. You know, these are really homebrew type fanzine stuff, but interesting reads, interesting to have a look at. Yes, I've got all this stuff. Yes, I will never ever read all this stuff, but you know, this will be great inspiration for me when I'm lost for something to do. You know, I'm still going to add a few more collections to all of this, but when I'm lost for something to do, I can literally just dive in, pull up a magazine, and I don't know, we could say go to Atari Age here, we'll pick you, and say, right, we're going to play the first game that I can find by having a look through here, and that would be Atari Video Cube. Never seen that, never heard of that before, but hey, that could be one that we play on the channel, you know. And it's just old memories that you've got, lots of great old memories. So I've gone on about this enough. This is a great way for you to build your collection. This is a great way for you to view your collection as well. You know, this one was a recent one that I got, ST format. You know, all of these are now available on the internet, and you know, some of these scans are really good quality when you have a look in. Yeah, you get the little icon as it pops up, but you know, everything is readable. Oh, that took a while to load because it's a big page and we are streaming across the network, so to speak, but everything is readable, everything is good. I hope this video has been used to you or useful to you. You know, I'm trying to introduce you into something a little bit more interesting where, you know what, you can grab these collections, you can have a look, you can even build your own magazine archive by going to the link that I showed you on the screen. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's been a pleasure to demonstrate this application. I am glad I bought this with my own money. All of you stay safe, all of you take care, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.
G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. At the Gentleman's Pixel Club, we play old school games, no need to rule. With sunglasses on, we dive into retro fun. Masters of nostalgia, our joy never gets undone. G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, let's have some fun. Gentlemen of gaming, you know ladies, welcome to Pixelated Fun. Remember when we had Commodore and Atari too? Those were the days, we loved them like a brother and you. From Pac-Man to Space Invaders, we played all night long. Gentleman's Pixel Club reminds us of those times when life was just right. G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, let's have some fun. Gentlemen of gaming and the ladies too, retro fun never done. Through the years, the games may change, but the spirit stays the same. Gentleman's Pixel Club is where we gather our hearts in a gang. Sunglasses on, we're ready to play. Gentleman's Pixel Club, the ultimate gaming channel, always in play. G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Now and join the club, let's have some fun. And women and children of gaming, joystick fun are never done. G is for gentleman, T is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, right, and have some fun. Gentlemen of gaming, pixelated fun never done.